Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of a Brew for Two podcast. I'm your host, Brad, along with my co-host, Derek.
Hello.
We are here on episode number 56. Lots to talk about tonight, so let's get started. First off, I would just like to say, how are you, Derek?
Operating at probably about 70% efficiency. But, not going 100% out today, just kind of chilling,
Chilling?
Mm-hmm.
I too am chilling. Not a lot going on with me today. This past week though, still not a lot going on.
There's not a lot going on, especially now that Toronto's going into full lockdown on Monday. So
I know it. The numbers are up.
We'll be sure to follow eventually because it makes sense. Shut us down when Toronto, Peel, and New York have, I would say, at least 80-85% of the cases right now.
Yeah. Numbers are skyrocketing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And mostly because people just don't care anymore.
No, people are just getting kind of sick and tired of it. Like it's just
we did our 6 months.
Well, yeah. Then on top of that, like the economy needs to kind of start recovering now because places have literally gone out of business over these last few months.
And there's gonna be there's 5 weeks till Christmas.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be another spike.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Especially over Christmas break, like there's gonna be a massive spike, guarantee it.
And
why is there a massive spike? It's Christmas. Like, come on.
People want to spend time with their families.
Yeah.
I know my sister and brother-in-law. They've already said that it's just gonna be them.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to Waterford or they're not going to Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
It's gonna be them three, and same with my parents. Just gonna be me and my parents this year.
Yeah, same as my household. Like nobody's going anywhere.
I finished my Christmas shopping. My Christmas shopping's done.
I haven't started mine. Mostly because I hate shopping and I don't like buying anybody anything. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I don't like buying anybody anything. As the problem is trying to buy stuff for people who already have anything they want is very fucking difficult. Like, what do you get somebody who can just go out and be like, yeah, I can just get this? Like, why would I buy you if you can just go get it yourself?
Exactly. And I've been also this week I've been playing Pokemon Go, and I discovered a new app. It's called Pokemon Home.
Yeah.
It acts like a bank for your Pokemon. Back in the Gold and Silver age of Pokemon, Gold and Silver, 20 years ago, they released a thing called the Pokemon Bank, which was this separate.
Well, no, they had it in yellow.
Maybe they had it in yellow.
You go into the Poké Center and you have your bank there, your storage.
That was something else.
Okay, well, Gold and Silver was on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
And Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. So
yeah, but Gold and Silver, they introduced Nintendo introduced this Poké Bank where it was kind of like this third
party thing.
Third party thing that coincided with the game. And so this Pokemon Home did the same thing pretty much with Pokemon Go and the Nintendo Switch. And if you transfer your Pokemon to this Pokemon Bank called Pokemon Home, you get a mystery box.
Ooh.
Mystery box is like an incense.
Yeah.
Where it acts like an incense. But it only attracts one Pokemon.
Yeah.
And that Pokemon is a mythical Pokemon called Melton. So, and I don't know if you finished that Melton quest.
I'll be honest, I haven't started it because Pokemon Go has kind of just been not that I didn't enjoy playing it during the summer, but now it's kind of just
it's like one of
I can't really find time just to sit there, throw an incense out for an hour and catch Pokemon. I just don't find myself having the time to do it anymore.
Yeah, I understand that.
Just kind of unfortunate, but it's just.
But the Melton task was an old task, like a task from a couple months ago. It was one of the first tasks when I reinstalled the game. It was one of the first tasks.
Yeah.
To do, and then I finally got it done, and then you get Melton, and then it's 400 candies to evolve Melton. Well, why is it 400 candies to evolve? Well, this is where the mystery box comes in, where it's where the mystery box is an hour incense of just Melton.
Oh.
So So you put like because I've been putting on the mystery box at wrong times when I shouldn't be. I don't get the full hour of catching.
Have they been, is it like explained what hours you have to do it at, or is it just kind of?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of on them then. Like they should tell you what hours you should use this at.
No. It's just it was on me because I'm just like I'm on lunch at work, so I'm just like okay.
Yeah.
And then so I only get like half the time.
Oh, okay. So okay. So it's just you not having the time to sit there for the hour to do it. Okay. Okay.
And like I get that itch. I'm like, oh, I want to use it, but I'm at work.
Yeah.
It's like, should I wait to get home? I want to use it. So I just been putting it on at bad times. But you can only use it like once every 4 days.
Oh, okay.
So once the hour's expired, and you have to wait 3 days, and then you transfer a Pokemon to the Pokemon home. You transfer it, and then you get another one.
Oh, okay.
And then you get another chance to catch Melton. I'm so close to get Melmetal, his evolved form.
Yeah.
And other Pokemon Go news, since we're on the topic, they're releasing Gen 6 December 1st.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where I want to play the game, but like the new World of Warcraft expansion comes out on Monday, so I'm like I'm not gonna be playing pretty much anything else except that for the next at least like 3 months.
Yeah, I got you there. In December,
unless I happen to get a PS5 or an Xbox
Series X.
Yeah, then I might play that, but then it's like
we've discussed this. I'm pretty sure we're both going for PS5.
Yeah. Well, on top of that too, like especially right now, like the thing is, like with Xbox, like yes, they have the Game Pass, and the Game Pass is awesome. But for me, as a person who plays mostly on PC, I can buy the Game Pass for PC.
Mm-hmm.
So buying a Series X just doesn't really like make any sense to me when I can just play all the same games on my computer.
Plus, the PS5 looks nicer.
Yeah,
it looks like a nicer console.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Xbox looks like a mini fridge. Like it's
the Xbox looks like a PC tower.
Yeah.
Just not as thin as a PC tower.
But no, it's thinner. It's smaller than a PC tower usually.
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah, the PS5, it looks a lot better, and I'm probably gonna get it when my credit card goes down to 0.
Yeah. And on top of that too, like a lot of the games that the PS5 launched with like are good games. The Xbox launched with nothing except Game Pass.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So
like as soon as I get a PS5, I'm getting that Spider-Man Miles Morales game.
Yeah. I'm gonna if I get once I get it, I'll probably like first game I get will probably be like Godfall or something like that, and then whatever else happens to come after that.
Yeah.
I know they have like the PlayStation Plus network, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like Game Pass, but not as good.
Yeah.
Where you get like free games every month or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
we have a lot to talk about for games wise, but we'll get to that later. And what else? What else did I do this week? Like, nothing really. It's just like I'm trying to think. Like all I've been doing is watching Smallville.
Yeah.
And I'm on season 7 now. I'm almost on season 7 now, which.
Yeah. I mean, I even for me too, it's been nothing. I've been doing nothing very much but work and getting ready for Shadowlands launch on Monday. Other than that, I've done nothing. I played a lot of. I have played a lot of RuneScape again this week though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm on Smallville season 7. Almost done it. They just introduced Supergirl.
Yeah.
Smallville, and also season 6 introduced Green Arrow.
Yeah.
And the Flash and Cyborg. It's kind of cool because I didn't watch Smallville when it aired. So the only Green Arrow show I watched
is the CW one,
is the CW one, which the Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, played by Stephen Amell, and Barry Allen, played by Grant Gustin in The Flash, and Supergirl, played by Melissa Benoist.
Yeah.
And so those are my, like, even though we grew up with Smallville.
Yeah. You never really watched it.
We never really watched it because Smallville's demographic was teenage girls. Because a lot of the CW's demographic
I definitely didn't watch it. I don't know what you're talking about.
a lot of the CW shows demographic is teenage girls.
Well, it was a Superman show, so I watched it. Like, It's crazy to me like that. I wish they kind of had jump started the DC universe off of that show.
They were trying to.
Yeah.
Did you know that they weren't gonna do Superman at first. They were gonna do a show called, I think they were gonna call it Gotham. Like they were gonna call it like Bruce Wayne, or something like that. It was gonna be a story about Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
and it was gonna be exactly like Smallville, just be in Gotham and be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
as a 25-year-old playing a 15-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. You see the guy who plays Superman in Smallville, and you're like, you're definitely not in high school, buddy.
Well, no. It's like, okay, it's like,
if you are, you're in like 12F. Like, you're not in 12B. You're in 12F.
Like, no, just watch season 1 because he's supposed to be in grade 9 in season 1.
Oh, I know, and he's like 7 feet tall. And
he's like 25. Yeah, yeah. He's supposed to be in grade 9 in season 1, and and the things that like don't line up. Like, there's a prom episode in season 1, and I don't know how the United States works with their school, but Canada, there's no prom for freshmen.
No, you have like spring formal, I think, for like grade 9, which for any American people, like grade 9 here is basically freshman year, like there.
And like the Lana thing doesn't line up at all.
No,
like for the whole series, I thought she was like a year older than Clark.
No, she's younger.
But no, they're the same age because they were both in grade 9.
Yeah, that's weird.
And she's dating like a grade 12 because her old boyfriend graduates. Like,
yeah, it's fuck. If you don't really think about it, it's not that fucked up. But if you think about it, it's kind of screwed up. But it's still a very good show.
Because her ex-boyfriend graduates at the end of season 1 and then goes off to the military.
Yeah,
and like,
so if she's grade 9, she's like 14, 15.
15. That's
and
15.
He's 18.
Like my high school, there was a lot of girls and guys that did that. However,
it was very rare in my high school. Like, it didn't really happen.
Only because my school did that because we were on staggered lunches. So the grade 9s and 11s had lunch together, and the 10s and 12s had lunch together.
Oh, that was the opposite of my school. Everyone just had lunch at the same time.
Yeah. They decided to do that because apparently my graduating class was the largest grade 9 class.
Yeah, well, you went to St. Mike, so you had like a lot more people. Like my school in total, I think had maybe 300.
Wow, that's a small school.
Yeah, and like 40, or no, not even 40, like 20 or 30 of those were grade 12. Another 50 or 60 were like grade 11. Another 50 or 60 were grade 10, and then the rest were just grade 9. So like it wasn't. So everyone just had lunch at the same time. That was it.
Did you know? So along with Jensen Ackles being in season 4 of Smallville, there was another character in the season of Smallville, another actor, Ian Somerhalder.
Huh?
Ian Somerhalder. He was in Lost, but he was also in Vampire Diaries.
Ian Somerhalder. Who the hell is he playing in Vampire Diaries?
I have no idea, but he played Boone in Lost.
I'm gonna look it up.
But he was in a season of Smallville for a couple of episodes. I think season 3. And he was supposed to be, because I looked on Reddit. He was a character.
Oh.
Yeah,
he's Damon. Okay.
Yeah, he was a character in Smallville called Adam Knight.
Yeah,
and who was supposed to be their version of Bruce Wayne, but then Warner Brothers pulled the plug because Batman Begins was coming out.
Yeah,
and they were just like, well, we don't want, because Batman Begins is coming out, we don't want any TV shows at all to reference Batman at all.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I really didn't think that went through. Like, I love the Nolan movies. Nolan trilogy was absolutely amazing, but I think from Smallville, they could have really created a good universe, a good foundation to start off the DCU.
Like I said, they were going to. They were going to have an Aquaman show. They were going to have a Green Arrow show.
Yeah. I think they should have did that for DC, because I think like DC, as much as like I would love movies, I think would have done a much better job as being a universe of TV shows.
Well, they were thinking of doing
do the crossovers, kind of like the Marvel ones did.
Oliver and Lois, Green Arrow and Lois Lane show. Yeah. Because in season 6, Oliver and Lois Lane get together. Yeah. Which I never understood how So in comics, in the animated series, because I just go by the animated series, Oliver Queen and Diane Lance, Black Canary, are married. They're married. They're together.
Weird, yeah.
But every freaking live action TV show, they're never together.
No.
Freaking Green Arrow in Smallville ends up with Chloe Sullivan at the end.
That's I mean the DCU like just never like DC in general just has not been able to get their storylines straight and get their characters in the spots they need them to have in order to have a coherent storyline for their universe. That's been their biggest issue, I think.
Like every time I'm watching Smallville and they reference Lois and Clark getting together, I'm just like, ha! I just kind of go, just belt out a laugh because I'm like, ha! I get it. I get where you're winking to the audience right now.
You're trying. Smallville did a good job having a lot of the characters in it.
Yeah, they did.
A lot of the Justice League in it.
Martian Manhunter's in Smallville.
Yeah.
Who plays a better Martian Manhunter than the Martian Manhunter in Supergirl.
Yeah, which is
Phil Morris plays Martian Manhunter.
Yeah. I think if they would have like stuck with it and not in the Nolan movies and stuck with the TV shows for it, like they could have had like I mean as much as I don't like the Defenders from Marvel, like that whole series more or less just because Iron Fist, I just don't like the Iron Fist way they did him. But like as far as Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and like Luke Cage, like if they would have had that kind of synergy with the DC TV shows and DC characters, like did a Superman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and like who'd be another main one?
Superman, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, Batman.
If they would have did TV shows like that and like had them all conglomerate in like certain seasons. I mean, I know they had DC's Legends of Tomorrow and everything.
Yeah.
Where they kind of
the DC's Legends of Tomorrow, it kind of started that way where they're kind of like but then it just became like, oh, what kind of shit can we make fun of today?
Yeah, and it just went downhill very quickly.
Actually, Ian Somerhalder, he would have made a great Dick Grayson. Not so much Batman, but
definitely not Batman, but
Nightwing. He would have made a good Nightwing.
Yes, Nightwing,
which is Dick Grayson.
Or I mean, honestly, or even like Red Hood.
Red Hood, yeah,
like he would have did a
Jason
very good
Todd,
Red
Hood, yeah. Because I was watching him on Smallville, and I'm like, this guy can play a great Dick Grayson or a great.
As much as I don't want to say this, you should watch The Vampire Diaries if you want to see him acting differently.
Well, no,
or acting a little more like kind of mysterious, sinister. So he would be a really good Red Hood or Nightwing.
Well, he kind of does in Smallville.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really do it much in Lost because he's a very much in Lost. Lost was his first like big television role.
Yeah.
Because I heard it in an interview where he was a Calvin Klein model before Lost. And Lost was his big break, and he was kind of like he's kind of that young. He was kind of that young, hunky lifeguard. He thinks he knows everything, but he's not. Yeah. He's not a doctor. He's a lifeguard.
Yeah,
like he's in like the first 5 minutes of the show of the first episode of Lost, where like he's trying to give this woman CPR because there's a plane crash, and the doctor Jack Shepard comes up and it's like you're doing it wrong. He tells him you're doing it wrong. You gotta give her CPR a little bit lower. And he's like, I've been a lifeguard for years. And then it's like, and he plays this in Lost. He also plays this like pretty boy who with a silver spoon in his mom's rich.
Yeah.
He has the hots for his stepsister.
Yeah, it's weird.
And they kind of do it like a bunch, not on the island, but in flashbacks. They kind of have that history of doing it. And
Lost is a weird show.
It is a really weird show. It's a good show. It's good. It's easy to follow. It's kind of medium to follow.
But speaking of DC stuff, like I said to Brad yesterday, like I posted in our not post, I added to our list of to talk about was they released some pictures for the Snyder Cut of Deathstroke and Steppenwolf, and like Deathstroke looks badass.
Deathstroke does look badass. He's being played by Joel Manganiello, who was Marshall's best friend.
Yeah.
How I Met Your Mother.
Well, no, he wasn't his best friend.
No, Ted is his best friend.
Ted's his best friend.
No, but Joe's character was Joe Manganiello's character was in How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
I forget his name.
I don't remember, but it was the brunch episode.
Yeah, the brunch episode
where Marshall thought he was gay.
Yeah.
So it was really funny, but he obviously wasn't.
And then he was in Magic Mike.
Yeah.
Because then like you don't. It was Brad. His name was Brad in How I Met Your Mother, and you don't see Brad for like ever, and then he pops up, but he doesn't look schlubby anymore. He's like kind of built and kind of has that beard and long hair. Yeah. Because he just came back from a role of doing Magic Mike. So, but now he's gonna be in the Snyder Cut.
Yep.
Justice League, and it's gonna be more than just 5 minutes of extra footage.
Yeah, it's a whole new movie apparently.
It's a whole new movie apparently. So we got a new look at him, which he looks badass, and then we got a new look at Steppenwolf, which looks spiky. The internet looks like a porcupine.
The internet has exploded because everyone's like, he's so goddamn spiky. Like, no one's ever want to give him a hug. Or there was one thing where somebody said, it's like, oh, me says to Snyder, how many spikes do you want at him? And Zack Snyder, yes. Because he's just if you haven't seen the picture, just look it up.
So he's
covered in spikes.
There's this old children's book. There's this children's book, and it's a sad book, because it's about a snake that the snake just wants a hug. Yeah. And nobody wants to hug the snake because snakes have a history of biting. Yeah. And it's kind of sad, or the snake is slithering around, and then he's like, nobody will give me a hug. And it's like, he's sad because none of the animals are going to give him a hug. But then come to the end of the book, he sees a porcupine that is also sad because nobody will give him a hug. And they just end up hugging, and life is good.
And the porcupine stabs the snake.
The porcupine is Steppenwolf. But I find he does look better.
I don't know. Like, even it's one of those things. Like, he looks a little better, but like his face, if you look at it, like just looks so derpy.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, his face looks like so funny. But
I guess you got a good point there. It's.
We'll see what happens when that comes out, because we're not gonna get that for God knows whenever the hell that's coming out.
That's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Not like soon, like next week, but soonish.
Yeah. Hopefully it's good. I mean, we'll see what his vision was for the DC Justice League, because that movie was bad.
Yeah, like as much as like I've actually, a girl I matched with on Bumble asked me, it's like, what's your favorite, Marvel or DC? And I'm like, DC. Yeah. Not so much for their movies, but
DC for their characters, 100%. Marvel for their movies.
It's going to be released in 2021.
Yeah.
But like, I grew up on shows like Batman the Animated Series and Justice League.
Yeah. There wasn't really any Marvel cartoon shows or like besides X-Men.
Well, like X-Men the Animated Series, we were born in the 90s, yes, but we grew up in the early 2000s. Like,
yeah, but I remember watching those in the late 90s though.
No, like, I don't remember much from
those Saturday morning cartoons, man. That shit was the best.
Yeah, I didn't really watch much of the X-Men animated series, but I watched Spider-Man the Animated Series, and I watched Batman the Animated Series because they were doing reruns on YTV. Yeah. Or Teletoon at night. Teletoon. Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Yeah, I still remember the X-Men theme. Yeah, like it's forever ingrained in my mind from watching it so much.
But I said,
DC for the characters, and then
the villains. Mostly the villains. The DC has a better rogues gallery than
Marvel.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of their stuff Marvel took. Like, where did you think they got the idea for Thanos? Darkseid.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Then like Deadpool from Deathstroke.
Yeah. I will give them though that Deadpool is way better than Deathstroke.
Oh yeah, for sure. They make have you seen that Teen Titans Go joke?
No.
Where they they find Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, and he's like, and Robin's like, Deadpool, and he's like, I'm not Deadpool, I'm Deathstroke, and he's like, what's your name? Slade Wilson. He's like,
it's like,
kind of sounds like Wade Wilson.
Yeah, right contact. Right, if someone would have just misspelled a little bit, you would have been Wade.
So I've never watched Teen Titans Go the movie, but I kind of want to because of all the fourth wall breaking jokes they put in that.
Yeah, I have yet to watch
There's
it.
a Stan Lee cameo in that movie.
Oh my god.
And there's a Twitter I follow, and it's out of context stuff. It's like all stuff out of context. There's a scene in the Teen Titans movie where they go back in time, hand Martha Wayne her pearls right before she gets shot.
That's okay.
So just like all the fourth wall breaking stuff they do. We did talk about themes earlier, like the X-Men theme. Who could forget the X-Men theme? Another theme that always gets us reminiscent about cartoons is the Pink Panther theme. The pink do 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 do. And which is leading in our first news story of which is leading into our first news story. They are remaking the Pink Panther movie. Well, rebooting, I should say.
Yeah.
So the original Pink Panther came out in like about 1963, starring a man that I can't think of the name. Yeah. Peter Sellers. Which was an extraordinary funny movie. I've only seen clips of it. Never really watched the whole thing.
No, yeah, but I've the only Pink Panther movies I've seen are the guy, what the hell's his name? We were just talking about him.
Steve Martin.
See the Steve Martin movies, and obviously watching the cartoon. But
I barely even watched the cartoon.
I watched a few episodes of it when I was. That's about all my knowledge of it is just a few episodes that I happened to randomly catch on TV. But
well, like I remember a bit of the movies starring Steve Martin, and like as Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah.
And like the one scene that always comes to mind when he's trying to pronounce hamburger.
Hamburger. Yeah. Hamburger.
And he starts like, he had a sidekick who was I forget the actor's name, but he was the guy. There was a movie along in the 90s with Natalie Portman as a child, and whoever played his sidekick was in that movie as an assassin for hire.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyways,
so the Pink Panther reboot is happening with an all new franchise concept in the works at MGM, marketing the latest classic property to get rebooted as a CGI live action hybrid movie. So MGM has tapped Sonic the Hedgehog director Jeff Fowler to helm the project, with Bad Boys for Life co-writer Chris Bremer penning the screenplay. The deal has reportedly been in the works since the start of the year, and it appears the movie is now officially a go. Julie Andrews, who is married to the original Pink Panther movie co-writer and director Blake Edwards, is on board to produce. Also producing are Lawrence Marish and Rideback's Dan Lin and John Erich. Lawrence's father, Martel Mercewich, who executive produced the 1963 original, will also return to executive produce alongside Rideback's Ryan Halpin. I apologize for a lot of those mispronunciation of names.
Yeah. No, that's fine. But I mean, cool they're rebooting it. Because realistically, the Steve Martin ones didn't really, I want to say did justice for the Pink Panther, but they weren't really Pink Panther movies because the Pink Panther wasn't in them, and that was the whole.
The Pink Panther was
thing.
A diamond.
Yeah.
Was the Pink Panther in the original? Because
the cartoons, yes. I don't know about the actual
1963 movie.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I believe the Pink Panther in the remake with Steve Martin was basically the same movie.
Yeah.
It was a guy that was a bumbling detective trying to find who stole the Pink Panther diamond. I believe were both movies, with the Pink Panther just kind of coming in for transitions.
Yeah. It looks like Peter Sellers was Inspector Clouseau in the 1963. So I guess actually the Steve Martin ones were supposed to be like remakes of that one, which is the original ones.
So, but
so I guess I'm wrong that the cartoons were better, but
with them having a CGI live action reboot hybrid, you know the Pink Panther is actually going to be in this one
for sure. Yeah.
I just remember that Family Guy clip where the bullies spray paint Brian pink, and then Pink Panther just walks on the screen. He's like, "First day being pink, welcome to hell," and then it just plays the music afterwards. Kind of funny. But I don't know when this movie's gonna come out. Actually, you know what? You know what I'm gonna say? I didn't even know Julie Andrews was still alive.
No. Figured they were dead a long time ago, but
because that's the Sound of Music lady.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Anyway, I can't wait for that to come out.
Yeah. So whenever it does, yeah. I mean, if you're really into Pink Panther, you're gonna probably enjoy it, and hopefully, because the guy who's directed Sonic,
he's 85.
Oh wow. Hopefully the guy that, because I mean, apparently the Sonic movie was apparently really good.
Yeah, apparently the Sonic movie is really good
because they actually fixed it and did it properly instead of doing whatever the hell they were going to do before.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to mention it because it's just stupid.
Is the Sonic the Hedgehog movie on anything right now?
I thought it was coming to Crave or Prime, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But
I know it's on video on demand somewhere.
Yeah. It's on VOD somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I mean, it might be Prime or Crave.
I don't think it's on Crave yet.
It might be Prime then.
Maybe Prime.
But we'll see. We'll see whenever that comes out. It should be good. If it's that guy directing it, apparently it should be good.
A blast from our past is up next. Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah.
Getting are back. So it's official. Shark Boy and Lava Girl are back in Robert Rodriguez's upcoming Netflix movie, We Can Be Heroes. The story is set in the same universe as Rodriguez's beloved 2005 movie, The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. And now fans have their first look at the characters who are all grown up and parents to their own daughter, Guppy. Oy. All right. The young girl happens to have powers of both her parents, which gives her a pretty amazing skill set. I didn't even know they were dating in the first one.
Oh, yeah.
You can see an image of Guppy involved in some of the action in the new images from We Can Be Heroes. Actress Taylor Dooley is back as Lava Girl, so that's good. But Taylor Lautner, who played Shark Boy, is not back in We Can Be Heroes. Instead, actor J.J. Denshaw has taken his place. We Can Be Heroes follows a team of superheroes called the Heroics, who need to be rescued by their superpowered kids after getting kidnapped. On the decision to revisit the adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl in a 3D storyline, Robert Rodriguez recently said, "A lot of families have spent a lot of time together," referring to the public health crisis known as COVID-19.
Yep.
"I've been getting a lot of calls from all kids of studios reboots, saying reboot Spy Kids, reboot Shark Boy. Of course, they want to. They're all sitting at home with their kids. This seems to be the next big thing. Fans of the 2005 movie seem to agree with the director."
Did you ever watch the original movie?
I did. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't a fan of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I was a fan of Spy Kids.
Spy Kids, 100%. If they wanted to redo Spy Kids, I would be totally down with that.
Yeah.
Which they did. Which they did with All the Time in the World, I think it was.
Yeah, Spy Kids All the Time in the World, starring the girl from Girl Meets World. Forget her name.
Yeah, but it's them like kind of grown up ish and whatnot, and it's like their kids or whatever doing stuff, and that was really good. I don't think this needs a reboot. I really, really don't. And I'd be curious to see who was actually asking for this, because they would have to be like diehard fans of it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because it wasn't a very good movie.
No,
from what
it wasn't.
Remember. Like, and they got together at the end of the movie, because in the movie they ended up kissing.
I didn't see. That's how long it's been since I watched the movie.
Yeah, I think I watched it in 2005 when it came out, and I have never had the inkling to be like, yeah, I'm going to watch it again. Like, I've never gotten to that point.
All I remember is George Lopez playing the kid's teacher.
Yep.
And he creates these heroes and am I getting the right point that he draws these characters called Shark Boy and Lava Girl and they come to life or something?
I have no idea. I don't remember. It's been literally 15 years since I watched that movie. I've never had the inkling to be like, you know, I want to watch today. Shark Boy. I've never been.
But like, also fans are pissed because Taylor Lautner said no. So,
and of course, that was 15 years ago when he was a kid, and he probably was just like, that was like one of my first movie roles. I don't want to be back there again.
Yeah, and he's like,
he's a big star after Twilight, so like,
well, he hasn't really done anything though recently.
Not since Twilight, no, but
not since Twilight, no. Ooh, what did I do? All right, okay.
But realistically, he probably wanted way too much money, and they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to give you that much money. And he was like, yeah, you know what, okay, I'm done then. See you later.
But Robert Rodriguez is back in the spotlight, and I haven't really heard from him in a while, so which is good.
No, I mean, since like all the time in the world for the Spy Kids movies, like since then, I don't think he's really done a crazy amount.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Could be wrong on that, but I mean, I don't think he's done a lot. I haven't heard his name.
We're probably wrong on that one. Other news: 007 the game. They're going to make a new 007. So while fans eagerly await for Daniel Craig's final outing as the iconic M16 agent, 007, the game developer's final installment... well...
You're right there?
Yeah, no, I just... Okay, while fans eagerly await Daniel Craig's final outing as the iconic M16 agent and the game developer's final installment in their latest Hitman trilogy... IO Interactive has surprised fans with the announcement of a James Bond video game in development, exploring the origin story of Ian Fleming's super spy. So we're getting a 007 game made by the people who made Hitman, IO Interactive.
Yep.
The game featuring the game's working title is Project 007, will feature a Wally original James Bond story and allows players to step into the shoes of the world's favorite screen agent to earn their 00 status in the very first origin story of Fleming's fictional British M16 spy. IO Interactive...
It's MI6, buddy.
Oh.
It's not M16.
Wow.
It's MI6.
Yeah, I should have known that. Yeah, because that's not a 1, that's an I.
No, that's an I, buddy. It's MI6.
See, sometimes, like... when
I was drinking a beer, I couldn't say anything.
Sometimes when I'm, like, working in schools, I make my 1s look like I's. And
I mean, a 1 and an I look very similar, unless you're doing like a proper I.
Like, you know what I hate when you're typing in something and like you're typing in like a code of something and you're like, is that a 0 or an O? That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and then it says, oh, and it's like you put in the wrong password. And like,
or is it an L, a 1, or an I? What is it? Like, it's one of those 3 things. IO Interactive, the studio behind the long-running Hitman franchise and the Kane and Lynch titles, are currently recruiting elite talent from around the world to join the team that will build out this exciting and unique game title. The gaming rights for the Bond franchise have exchanged hands multiple times over the years, with Rare delivering the fan favorite GoldenEye in '95, Electronic Arts Tomorrow Never Dies, to James Bond from Russia with Love during their run. So, and GoldenEye was the best. Yeah. Well, yeah. Like, GoldenEye was like literally the best game, and then GoldenEye was like literally, I would say, one of the best 007 games, especially like the Golden Gun on the N64.
Yeah,
like that was just such a fun mode that you would lose friends because you would get the Golden Gun and start popping off with people, and then they would just start screaming at you.
And then if you like picked the guy who throws his hat, Odd Job. They made fun of him on Austin Powers with the guy who threw his shoe.
Yeah.
Who throws a shoe, honestly?
Like, really? Who throws a shoe? Yeah, he was Random Task.
Random Task.
In Austin Powers, yeah.
So, and if you picked Odd Job, it was an unfair advantage because he was shorter than everybody.
Yeah.
So every time you would try to shoot him, you would shoot over him and not, like, you would have to, like, bend your camera down and shoot people. But this is kind of a cool idea of a game coming out.
I hope they do this, and I hope that because they have the rights to it, they can, just for shits and giggles, put an updated like mode in. That's the fucking original 007 game mode, the 95 mode.
So it's like, it's first person shooter.
Yeah, Yeah. When it just really janky with your like aiming and everything. Like, I just want them to put that mode in just for nostalgia purposes, like totally selfish nostalgia purposes. But
yeah. So
because games have like a few games have done that, like Call of Duty did that. Like, so a few games have put in modes that like are like in Doom, Doom especially. Like you can, if you unlock it, you can go back and play the original Doom.
Yeah.
In the game, so kind of hoping they can do something like that with the 007.
Well, 007 is good with a gun, and another person that's good with a gun, Deadpool.
Yeah.
So rejoice! It has now been confirmed that the Merc with the Mouth is returning in Deadpool 3, with Ryan Reynolds all set once again reprising the role of Marvel's anti-hero. Meetings have reportedly been taking place with writers over the past month, with Reynolds hearing an assortment of pitches from a variety of talented scribes, finally settling on Bob's Burgers duo, Wendy. These names, man. Molyneux?
Molyneux, probably.
Molly Molyneux.
And Liz Molyneux Logan. Logan, I don't know.
Logan, to pen the highly anticipated Deadpool threequel. There has been no word of what would be done with the characters since the acquisition of Fox by Disney. And while there have been whispers of the X-Men eventually joining the MCU, nothing has been mentioned about the R-rated Deadpool. The character's penchant for bloody violence and foul language has many people wondering how exactly Deadpool can be done in a family-friendly world of Spider-Man and the Avengers. And while it remains to be seen whether this will ever happen, Reynolds and Molyneux sisters have clearly found a way to continue the Deadpool franchise under the Disney banner.
I'm so happy for this.
Are you?
Oh yeah, like
me too.
Deadpool 1 and 2 are just like,
they're great.
Usually you get movies where like, you know, the second one wasn't as good as the first, right? Mm-hmm. But no, not with Deadpool. 1 and 2 like are just absolutely both fantastic movies. So they both have their issues, of course they do, but they're both absolutely just great movies.
Yeah.
Sorry, audience. And I am totally excited for Deadpool 3. Like, Deadpool 3 is, especially, like, I think the best thing is too, like, Ryan Reynolds like knows that this character like has to be the best it can possibly be. So him being like the one person who's like, you know, we're gonna do your script, not your script, not your script. Like, just gives me high hopes that it's gonna be like really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree completely. It's going to be really good.
Yeah.
I'm also on the fence with these audiences saying like, oh, what are they going to do? Because Disney and rated R.
It's gonna be rated R. There will be zero way that Deadpool will not be rated R.
Especially like with Ryan Reynolds on it.
Yeah. Well, on top of that, like too, like Deadpool is not a character that can be PG-13.
No.
There's no way.
No.
Absolutely no way. And if Disney doesn't want to get behind that, unfortunately, they don't really have a choice because you can't get anybody else to play Deadpool.
No, you can't.
If you do, nobody will watch it. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Mm-hmm. Like he's written into the comics as Deadpool.
He's Wade Wilson, not Hal Jordan. Wade Wilson.
Yeah.
If anybody got that reference, that was a Green Lantern reference.
Yeah, to that horrible trash bin fire of the movie. Yeah. But they could never ever replace him. So like this movie will be R-rated and it will be full of just so many sexual innuendos.
And like this Deadpool waving at the camera.
Yeah, and hopefully they don't do the half his body and then he has little tiny feet and a little, you know.
Yeah, let's not do that joke again.
Yeah.
But like with Deadpool, I think with Deadpool they don't recycle the same jokes over and over again.
No, and they haven't really done it between 1 and 2 either. Like, sure, they've probably had a few that we probably just haven't noticed, but they've done such a good job, like, retelling them, I guess, that it's just been good. So I have high hopes for this movie.
I have high hopes for this movie too. No date of when it's gonna happen, but might happen sometime in the near future. And like because of that Fox and Disney deal. There has been a lot of movies that have been like Deadpool 2 came out 2018.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So So it's now been like 2 years since Deadpool 2.
Yeah, and the original Deadpool was 2016, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so 2016, 2018. So you would think the sequel would have been coming out this year or next year, but now it might not happen till.
Well, it probably would have, but because the acquisition of like Disney or Fox through Disney, like that probably definitely slowed things down a little bit. They were probably already looking in the beginning, and then when that happened, they're like, "Well, Christ, now we got to figure out a different way to do things." But yeah.
So I'm really excited about this news. We have some gaming news. The 2020 Game Award nominees have been announced. So I have a couple of them here. I didn't put all of them. I just put the ones I would like to talk about. So Game of the Year nominees are The Last of Us Part 2, Animal Crossing: The New Horizons, Hades, The Ghost of Tsushima, the Final Fantasy remake, which would be 7.
Yeah.
VII 7.
Yeah.
And Doom Eternal, which is the new Doom game that recently got released this past summer.
Yeah.
Best Game Direction, the Final Fantasy 7 remake.
Yeah.
The Ghost of Tsushima, Hades again, Half-Life Alyx, and The Last of Us Part 2. The best score nominees: Doom Eternal, composed by Mike Gordon. Final Fantasy 7 remake, composed by, not even going to pronounce that name.
Yeah.
Hades, composed by Darren Korb. Ori and the Will and the Wisp, composed by Gareth Coker.
Yeah.
Coker? And The Last of Us Part 2, which I didn't get.
Yeah.
So what do you think of these nominees?
Game of the Year, I'm gonna call it now. It's gonna be Last of Us Part 2. Like, it's gonna win.
Oh yeah.
It would be between that and Animal Crossing. Would be one of the two.
Yeah. You would think?
Yeah. For me personally, yeah, it's one of those two games.
Yeah. For me personally too, it's one of those two games.
Hades came out just before the cutoff date for this year.
Yeah.
So there's not gonna be a lot of hands-on for that. Ghost of Tsushima came out earlier this year, and as much as people love that game, Last of Us Part 2 just blew a lot more people away. And as far as like game reviewers go, like I think Last of Us got a higher score. And Doom Eternal is just, I mean, it's another Doom. Realistically.
Yeah. What about Final Fantasy 7?
It doesn't even stand a chance.
No.
No. If that wins, I'll be very surprised.
See, like I'm with you with The Last of Us Part 2 and Animal Crossing: New Horizon, but I think it's gonna come down to The Last of Us Part 2 and Final Fantasy.
I think Final Fantasy even has like even a horse in the race. Like I don't think it even
like even
only reason being because it is a remake. Only reason being because it is a remake, and unrealistically, I don't think it should even have a nomination for Game of the Year because it is a remake of an old game.
Yeah.
So it's going to just have nostalgia purposes for a lot of people. So I don't think there should be any.
What about Best Game Direction? Who do you think is going to take that?
Best Game Direction, I think, is probably. It's probably going to be Ghosts. I would hope, but it might be between like Ghosts, Half-Life, and like Last of Us again. Realistically.
And then Best Score is up next with Doom, Final Fantasy.
My personal thing, I personally think, I hope Ori wins because the score for that game is just phenomenal. That game is 50% playing the game and 50% just listening to that music and just it's so amazing, that game, the score in those games. Realistically, it'll probably maybe go to Doom or maybe Final Fantasy. I don't think it would go to Last of Us because Last of Us doesn't really. It depends what they're counting for score. Like if they're counting just like music cues, stuff like that, then it'll probably be Ori. But if they're counting everything as far as any noise in the game, any audio in the game, it'll probably end up being Last of Us.
There is a lot more than just these three categories. There's like best like narration, best like I don't know, best walkthrough or something like that. I don't know.
But these are the big ones. Like.
Yeah,
I wrote it down. Like my game of the year, Last of Us Part 2 is going to get.
I think personally, Last of Us Part 2 is going to do a sweep at the 2020.
I hope it doesn't. I really hope it doesn't. Like, just because I don't know. I hope other games just win stuff. Like, because I put for direction, I put Ghost, and for score, I'm hoping Ori wins.
So like with all award shows, there's always like that one movie that comes out that does a sweep. There's always that one that does a sweep of things. I mean, for the Emmys this year's Emmys, Schitt's Creek did a sweep of all the Emmys. Like they're like best comedy, best this, and I'm just like, wow, Schitt's Creek really did a good job. So I think The Last of Us is gonna do another sweep. And also in Last of Us, there's that guitar mini game with the guitar mini game, and where people are creating their songs, or freaking Blink-182 guy, the lead singer, the new lead singer, not the other guy.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it is Mark.
Is it Mark?
Yeah, it is Mark. He's playing Last of Us, and he plays "Damn It" on Last of Us Part 2. I think in that guitar mini game, because like funny. a lot of people, I guess that guitar, you can do a lot with that guitar mini game.
You can play any song you want. Basically, it's basically a guitar simulator in a game.
Yeah.
So people have like made codes for it that like run, and that you can just play entire songs on it,
which is kind of cool, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
And with that being said, though, that is the last of our news.
Oh, sorry, before we said, when is the Game Awards this year? I think it's December 12th or something like that. I think it's
December 10th.
December 10th. Yeah. Okay.
So
very soon. So we'll see. 20 days. So we'll see 21 days. So we'll see who wins.
3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
But we'll see who wins, and we'll probably have an update for you when we
as soon as we watch it. Yeah, because I will definitely 100% be watching it. So
I might miss it. Just because
maybe I should just come over that night on the 10th and just be like, yeah, we're watching it. Like,
I don't know where to stream it on anyway.
YouTube, Twitch, either or.
There you go. Yeah. Anyway, that, like any podcast, that is it for our news segment.
Yep.
In time for On This Day in film, television, and video games, if there is any. And we got a pretty big On This Day in the horror film genre. 79 years ago today, Frankenstein was released.
Shit.
Based on Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein, the Modern Prometheus. And also in 1959, Jack Benny and Richard Nixon played their famous duet.
Nice.
Yeah.
As far as video games, like on this day in video games, 15 years ago, the 360 came out.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm old.
Yeah, and because we released this on the following day, so that'll be the 22nd tomorrow when we release this. The best Zelda came out 22 years ago, the Ocarina of Time.
Ooh. That one.
And for me personally, 16 years ago, World of Warcraft came out tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
16 years of Warcraft.
Today when you're listening to it, tomorrow for us. But
16 years of Warcraft.
Yeah, and still going.
And like Warcraft has made a lot of like pop culture wise, Warcraft has done a lot. Like they did a Family Guy thing of Warcraft. They did the Leroy Jenkins. Who can't Leroy Jenkins? Who can't
even if you haven't played World of Warcraft, if someone yells Leroy Jenkins, like you just kind of know. Like even if you don't exactly know, you just know. Like,
you know what I can just imagine somebody doing? So I was at the border the one time with my friend, and she was like, and she tried to play the penis game.
Oh my god!
At the border,
yeah.
She had her windows rolled down and yelling.
That seems
penis.
like just a great idea to do at the border with guns.
No, but I could just imagine somebody doing the Leroy Jenkins thing, just lined up at the border, somebody yelling Leroy Jenkins
and
out
just
there
running through.
And like Family Guy did it with this, like, and they did it perfectly when Family Guy did it. They was like, okay, Joe, what's our numbers here? Oh, that, and it's like,
yeah.
And then it's like, okay, and then Cleveland's like, hey guys, have you heard of a Leroy Jenkins? And he's like, what's that? And it's like Leroy, and Cleveland just runs out Leroy Jenkins, and freaking South Park did it better when they did a whole episode about World of Warcraft.
Yeah, they did like probably it is 100% my favorite episode of South Park is that World of Warcraft episode.
Like it's like,
so funny and it's so fucking accurate. Like
it's just like, Butters, I thought you had a computer at home. I do. Then what do you play? Hello Kitty Island Adventures.
Butters,
go home, get World of Warcraft. okay. And he goes home and then he picks like the dwarf guy, which Cartman is already is, and he's like, Butters, what the hell?
Yeah, because they're playing the Scum Alliance, but whatever.
I don't know anything about that, but
Horde for life.
Whatever. And they all get like really fat and chubby.
Yeah.
And like where Cartman shit, like he has the shit, and like he calls his mom down to take a dump.
He has a hand cramp. Mom, Benge.
Is that also Meatloaf? No, that's Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, that's Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, that's Wedding Crashers.
Anyways,
with that being said, that is it for this edition of A Brew for Two podcast. As always, I'm your host, Brad, along with my co-host, Derek. Yeah. And you can follow us on any social media you want to at A Brew for Two podcast on Instagram, A Brew for Two at A Brew for Two on Twitter, and just simply type in A Brew for Two on Facebook and you'll find us.
Yep.
And you can also follow our social media, me and Derek's social media accounts at AGingerfin92 and at KingDwreck.
Yep.
And with all those plugs, I think we're done for tonight.
Yep.
We'll see you again next week, same time, same place.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.